Hello and welcome to this episode of Weekly Word. Father Ed here,
Father Dominic.
Deacon Kyle.
and we are approaching the third Sunday of Advent, what they call in the Latin language is Gaudete, or rejoicing. And you may recognize this as the time in which we wear a rose-colored vestment rather than violet. So we are lightening up the shade of purple, and evidently it has to do with joy. So anybody want to say anything about why are we called to rejoice on the third Sunday of Advent?
Well, it's really because Christmas is so close, right? We're coming up on just a little over a week away from Christmas, and so we're kind of like in the final countdown days. So it's a time to rejoice. The church tells us to rejoice at the birth of Christ, but maybe not in the way that we might initially think or that the culture might tell us. And so that's something that the scriptures really get into this weekend.
Yeah, and really, our rejoicing as Christians is not identical to maybe the rejoicing or partying of the world. Because I think in the world, it's let's have a good time, let's set up a party, and then after that, then we just are bloated and have a rough morning the next day. But really, our celebrations in our faith are meant to lead us lead us towards growth spiritually, and to allow us to rejoice in the goodness of God. And our celebrations really are a taste of heaven. And just like on Sunday we celebrate Mass, because Mass is the primary foretaste of heaven. Our celebrations as humans are a foretaste of heaven because of our sense of unity and joy.
Right, so we may be coming down to a couple of distinctions we want to make. What's the difference between Christian joy, that's at the heart of rejoicing, and I guess what we would call worldly pleasure or happiness?
Delight, maybe. Yeah.
Delight. Yeah. So, and I think I was preaching this Thanksgiving course about what is the purest source of Christian joy, and that is gratitude. And of course, that relates back to Eucharist. So, and how do we distinguish that between the giddiness, maybe, of pleasure and what'd you call it?
Delight.
That the world is maybe calling us to aim for. Unfortunately, it's an empty train car. So, if we're aiming to look for the happiness to come into our lives, if that's the goal of life, even when it arrives, we find out that it's pretty empty. So it's kind of a sugar coating on a nothing burger, I guess. And so we are turning. Well, the other thing is that on the third Sunday of Advent, the antiphon for the Mass. Every Sunday or celebration in the Roman Missal has a set of antiphons that come from the Scriptures to cover the entrance antiphon, the Gospel antiphon, and then the Communion antiphon. So those three, is that right? Yeah, the three major parts of the Mass. And so on Gaudete Sunday, that's where we get the word rejoice. It's from the antiphon because it's from Paul's letter to the Philippians. This is rejoice in the Lord always, for the Lord indeed is near. So to Deacon Kyle's point, so that Gaudete comes from the Latin there also. And of course, this is a season of penance, right? Purple vestments. And so, like in Lent, we have Laetare Sunday, which is as you can kind of say a halfway point, if you will, or we can see now. It's if the sun was coming up over the horizon. So we can now see into the great feast of Christmas on the horizon. So we brighten things up with our vestments. But the scriptures, they don't, they're not too joyful. And, and especially the gospel. So John the Baptist is out there in the desert, and all the people are coming to him, and they're, the soldiers and the business people and the religious leaders, and they're coming and say, well, what do we have to do? So maybe what we were discussing is that from the perspective of the Christian spirituality, our joy and our gratitude has to look like something. So John the Baptist saying, well, do this, do that, do this, that, and that. So it's not just this empty, frivolous, have a great time or make a party. I think that's what we say, party. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about show your faith in a life of kindness, I guess.
Yeah.
Charity, love.
Charity,
Yeah.
love.
And I think, you think of a regular Christmas celebration in the culture, and it's, again, it's something in which we all anticipate and we're excited, we have a good time, and then it's over, and then we just clean up the scraps, but rejoicing as Christians, first we need it's hard work to reach that point of rejoicing. We need to prepare our hearts. We need to repent. So like confession, turning away from some of the bad things we've been doing. The angry outbursts that we might be having, or maybe the selfish tendencies and actions that we do. And so it is only in addressing those negative areas that allow us to rejoice, and then that rejoicing should kind of cement or confirm the things that we've been doing. And I think it's somewhat similar to Catholic marriage preparation. So I think what I love, and I think what a lot of people love, is that Catholic marriage preparation, it's work. You meet with the priest, and at least at St. Albert, you meet with your couple mentor, and then you go to this retreat, and spend some extra money doing all this work. But in that process, couples come to reckon some of their problems communicating, or their difficulties with one another. And then, so by the time their wedding day comes, it's a celebration built on the fact that they've worked so hard on their relationship, that they've worked through their issues, and the celebration will springboard them into continuing that good work.
Yeah, because the marriage is then maybe closer to truth and love, because we've purified some of the maybe unspoken things, or maybe the things that are on our heart. So, yeah, that's a great analogy. I think in the world today, people would look at you and say, "Oh, you look kind of glum. Come on, cheer up. Let's go do something to get ourselves happy." I think what Father's saying, and Deacon and I, and John the Baptist are saying, no, you want to be joyful? Well, this is what you have to do. So it's not about changing your feelings. It's about changing your life, and then allowing your life to inform your feelings, which that's a bit of a slower process than what, shot in a beer.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you in. Oh, and don't forget, we have the Bambinelli blessing this weekend. So bring your baby Jesus from the Nativity set, and we'll get those things all blessed up for a joyful celebration of the coming of Christ this Christmas.
Right.
Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.